Yeah. So now, what is a plan? What is a lesson? And what is exactly is a lesson plan? You see, plan is an arrangement or idea for doing something in future, which means we plan today to do something tomorrow or later in future, which means this is a roadmap to attain the ultimate goal. Say, for example, we have to reach Delhi. So, what will be the arrangement and idea we will have to implement? We have to first clear that roadmap. Like packing also is there, booking of the ticket is also there, reaching the bus station or railway station is there, and then boarding the train or bus, reaching the goal, and from the station, then our destination. So this is the roadmap. And lesson is something that is intended to be or it should be learned. अभी मैं आपको example दूंगा. There will be lot of examples. Now lesson plan. What exactly is lesson plan? Lesson plan is a teacher's daily guide for what students need to learn. Number one. Number two is how it will be taught. And then the last thing is how it will be measured. You see, because without measurement, without evaluation, there is nothing useful. So lesson plan is a teacher's daily guide. And generally, when I was principal, I used to ask the teachers to make one lesson plan per week. They will write the format also I will give you. In that format, they will write in the teacher's diary that lesson plan. And then it will be submitted to my office. I will pick up any one, two, three, all of them, and I will note down their dates, period, time, and then everything. Looking at the chart in summary, I will reach that class particular day, particular period, watch it out for 10-15 minutes, note down my observations, come back. Teachers were supposed to teachers were supposed to come over there in my office and then learn exactly what are the shortcomings or flaws in their lesson plan. So it helps the teachers to be more effective in the class and more effective by providing a detailed outline to follow each class period. Generally होना तो चाहिए सब class में. Every class must have. Every period must have, every subject must have. But it is not possible for a teacher to write so many lesson plans for every day. So what I generally used to ask is one lesson plan per 15 days, fortnight. Submit it in my office and then I will refer to that. Now, the next one is it is a lesson plan is a teacher's guide for running a particular lesson. And it includes three things. Number one is goal. That is objective. What the students are supposed to learn. What they are supposed to learn. अभी मैं आपको examples दूंगा. I will give you a lot of examples. What are the objectives, how they are written, and what are the components of the objectives. So how the goal will be reached, number two. That is the method, the procedure, the observations, research, investigations, demonstrations, depending upon your lesson. And then the last one is the measurement. How will that be evaluated? So that will be tests, worksheets, homework, or give them some project. So that are the ways, that is the component of a lesson plan, for running a lesson plan. All the lesson plans contain some or all of these elements, typically in the same order. First is title of the objective, the title of the lesson, then list of objectives, then teaching aids which you will be using during the lesson, then instruction mode, then independent practice. Once you have taught them, then they will be doing their independent practice. The students will be asked to perform on their own, and then summarizing what exactly we have learned today, and then evaluation component. After evaluation component, two more important things are assignment, reflection first. Reflection is basically looking back, just like as we look at the mirror. That is, we look back and we try to find out what are the shortcomings in my lesson delivery, what are the drawbacks, and how they can be improved. So that is reflection. And then assignment, that is evaluation. Now let us see title of the lesson. This is the place where the unit or subunit topic, they are written, which the teacher intend to cover up during the duration, for the duration of lesson. That is 40 minutes ka generally the lesson is of 40 minutes in almost all the subjects, all the classes. So what we'll be learning is, for example, cell, types of cells, filtration, methods of filtration, fuel, what are fossil fuels, how they are formed, where they can be found, types of triangles, that is right angle triangle, acute angle, and so on. Part of speech, that is verbs, what are nouns, what are pronouns, what are adjectives, these are things. These are, I'm giving you just very short. अभी detailed मैं आपको देता हूँ. Now, teaching aids में here, the mention should be made as to the material a teacher intends to use during the teaching process, the delivery process, as this will enhance the learning in the students. It is not only, nowadays, it is not only, not the time of chalk and talk. Chalk and board or whiteboard, they are must, but they are not the only thing on which a teacher depends. There are a number of things: charts, flashcards, apparatus, that is for demonstration purpose, beaker, mathematical box, and so on, phonics, videos, maps, OSP, overhead projectors, etc. These will all be taken care of and utilized while delivering a lesson so as to enhance the learning process. Now, learning objectives क्या होते हैं? They are a sort of a statement that will lead your students to know what they will learn, when they will learn, under what circumstances or conditions they will learn, with what resources they will learn, to what degree of precision they will learn, and then under what constraints they will learn, what will be the restrictions. Say, for example, they are the promise to the students about learning. They are a set of observational actions and subject. They should be smarter. Smarter means first is specific, then measurable, meaningful, attainable, Third is achievable. A for achievable. R for realistic, reasonable, relevant. T for time bound. And then evaluable. E for evaluable. And R is reevaluate or reward. Just like for example, we give marks in the class test, homework, and exams, and so on. Now, there may be behavioral objectives, knowledge objectives, or skill objectives that are measurable, and the student shall be able to define, list, recognize. के का से ये याद करने के लिए this is the best way of learning or remembering something. Knowledge, comprehension, that is characterize, describe, sort, locate, and so on. A for application, that is choose, select, perform, demonstrate, implement. They are all application. Then another A is analysis. That is analyze, categorize, compare, differentiate. Then S is synthesize. From the different components, try to construct, design, construct, design, formulate, organize. These are all the questions or that are the components that include synthesis. And the last one is if evaluation, that is how will you assess, evaluate, rank or rate. The student will do. Now see first quick vision for objectives. By when, then subject, observable action, precision, condition, resource, and constraints. These are the 7 parts. So by the end of the lesson, the learner will be able to cook a well done dosa on the gas stove using oil and frying pan in 10 minutes. So this is the way the objective is written. You will be sent a recording tomorrow morning and certificates by afternoon. Now see, different subjects. After a lesson on Pythagorean theorem, the student will be able to correctly solve at least 8 out of 10 geometry problems using the theorem. This should be the objective. Next one in biology. After the lesson, the student will be able to identify parts of digestive system when shown individually by marking them in the digestive tract. And how can this be evaluated? This will be evaluated by asking the students to prepare a project using the natural things. For example, kidney beans for kidneys, drinking straws for intestine. Similarly, the third one is the student will be able to categorize types of animals into correct classes with a graphic organizer after reading their traits. Aquatic कौन से होते हैं, amphibians कौन से होते हैं, land animals कौन से होते हैं, flying animals कौन से होते हैं, and so on and so forth. You see, all the genuine learning is active learning and not passive. It also involves use of mind, not just memory. So it is a process of discovery in which the student is the main agent and not the teacher. Teacher is not the main agent. So it is learner-centered approach where we implement all those things, utilize all those teaching aids which help the teacher to teach and learner to learn maximum. Therefore, all the instruction has to be student centric. You see, the teacher should be well versed with not only the teaching methodologies, but also the art of utilizing all, and then teaching strategies. They are advised to use these carefully as and when to use them in a class of varied learners. Some are slow learners, some are fast learners, some are active learners, some are passive learners. Some of the enlightening strategies that the teachers may utilize in their teaching methods are mentioned below. Say, for example, for 5 to 8 years, the best methods are navigation, role playing, and storytelling. स्टोरी टेलिंग में लोगों को बहुत मजे आते हैं, बच्चों को तो खास तौर से. And in most of the cases, they go to the bed after listening to a story from their grandfather, grandmother, and so on. Now, 8 to 13 years, they enjoy demonstration, field trips, and interviews. But in interviews, you have to be very careful because you have to prepare their questions. If, say, for example, a student is asked to interview his principal, so the teacher has to be very careful in designing those questions. Sir, what are your qualifications? Where did, where from did you did your schooling? Which college you were in? Which city you live in? Where from you did your B.Ed? What is your purpose in the education? And so on and so forth. Now, 11 to 16, they love discovery and flip teaching. Flip teaching, reverse. The role of the teacher is taken by the student, and the role of a student himself he takes. Say, for example, he what he does is, what the child does is, he is given a short clip, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. He will observe back at home whatsoever the time he needs, he requires, he has free, and then prepare his questions, and then come to the class next day, and the teacher should be well prepared rather, to answer them in the class. Now, reflection. Reflection is a critical process for supporting your development as a professional. It is just looking back, जैसे मैंने अभी बताया था आपको, looking back and analyzing what you have done in the past to gauge the effectiveness of a lesson plan. Reflection is required to address something that surprised you or made you pause. मैं वहां पे क्यों रुका था उस जगह पे? Look back at the lesson and find out. To add or delete such parts that made or will make the lesson more effective. You can add reflection के बाद, you can add and you can delete also. Now analyze whether the roadmap for your delivery catered to all the type of learners, slow learners, fast learners, and so on. And the best tool to reflect in testing is, it should be based on Bloom's taxonomy. मेरा ब्लूम्स टैक्सोनॉमी पे अलग वेबिनार होता है and generally it is one day. Bloom's taxonomy. So you should be very much aware of what exactly is Bloom's taxonomy. Sometime in future, when I do, I believe so that first I may request you all to mark P in the chat box so that I can find out who all were present in my webinar. It will just take you 1 minute. Go to the chat box, mark, write P. So how many you may all of you probably are member of webinar YVES, that is the community. In that community, there are announcements like the next one is on 7th. Oh, sorry, 2nd of December. That is anecdotal records. That has been announced and it will be announced on daily basis from tomorrow onwards. Those who want to join can join by paying 109 through the same way you have paid today or for this webinar. Now the next one is questions to consider while reflecting. Number one, what aspects were implemented differently than you planned? And why this happened? If you were to teach the same lesson to the same class, what would you do differently? That is most important. That is the way, that is the advantage, or that is the utilization of reflection. And then why you should do? Obviously, to improve the learning process. So over here, this thing is, webinar is over. I will stop sharing now. I'll stop sharing now. And if you have got any questions, then certainly you can ask me. You can ask me now any number of questions if you have. I will send you recording tomorrow morning, certificates in the afternoon, along with the format. What exactly is the format for preparing a lesson plan? There are 22 persons out of 32. Yes, sir. Surya Kumari ji, if you have got any question, you may ask. नहीं है. If anybody has got any question, you may ask.
Winter has begun.
Yes, over
Here it
here,
is raining in Pune.
over here, it is 17 degree.
Oh,
And what about there?
It's raining. Yesterday it rained heavily.
Yesterday Tanya was telling me it is raining very heavily.
Yes, yes.
तो कहते हैं अभी तो एसी नहीं चलाते, लेकिन हाँ थोड़ा थोड़ा पंखा तो चलाना पड़ता है. मैंने कहा चलो ठीक है. All right then, anybody, if nobody has got any questions, I will stop over here, and recording will be sent tomorrow. Format will be sent tomorrow, and recording will be tomorrow morning. Certificate will be tomorrow afternoon along with the format.
Okay.
Right, ma'am? I will end it here.
Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Good night. Chalo.
Good night, ma'am.
Good night.